Good morning, both and bow ties. All right, it's hump day, Wednesday hump day, and let me tell you, I really felt like hump day was yesterday. Seriously, if you only knew, I was like, life was lifing yesterday. I was like, come on, literally. But anyway, we move on. So I was not going to come on live this morning, and I was in my kitchen making my coffee. I was giving my cat some cat treats, packed my lunch, and I had TikTok on. You know, TikTok is the truth all the time, right? So I happened to see this creator. Now, I've seen this person several times. And once I tell you what she does, you'll know exactly where this conversation is going. I think she's an ex Mormon, ex Tradwife. I don't know if she's still Mormon, but anyway, long story short, she had stitched together, it was like a video clip of someone saying, hey, if you're going through a divorce, they said, make sure you have a job. Don't start looking for a job while being separated or something like that. And then she comes on and she talks about her story, what happened to her when she got married, but she never finished her education and was just throwing everything into her marriage with her husband. And then, he wound up walking out on her with the 19-year-old for some of the stuff, and then she didn't have anything. There's more to the story. So let me just say this. I've spoken about this type of thing before, several years ago when I was new on my channel. And I didn't know the term was called tradwife then, right? Like being a traditional wife. Tradwife is a portmanteau of a traditional and wife. So I mean, there is a difference between a stay-at-home mom and a trad wife. I don't want to get into those differences here in this video. I guess I could, but I don't want to. I need to focus on what I'm doing here. So, anyway, so this woman gets on there. She talks about the things she went through while going through her divorce, and continues to experience, post being a, post divorce. She's a divorcee. And let me just say this. For the whacked out weirdo dudes who are getting ready to get in their feelings, this is not for you, so you need to go ahead and click out of this video. This is for the women. Now listen to me. I am not against you being a stay-at-home mom. I am not against being a so-called traditional wife. Everybody do what you want to do. I always say have agency in yourself. That, who knows what that looks like? But you need to have agency in yourself. So on the extreme end, I would say, if you want to be a traditional wife and you're sitting on $1 million in some sort of trust or whatever it is, I say be that person, right? Be that. What's going on with my temperature situation here? Let's adjust. Okay, be that. What I'm saying is, when I tell you to have agency in yourself, I'm talking about you need to have control over your life. And that includes finances, that includes choices, that includes access. I don't believe in putting everything on men in our current day and age, meaning, like, a lot of these men claim they want a traditional wife, and I don't believe that's what they want, because there's a lot of responsibility that comes with being the head of the household. I also have stuff like, don't get me wrong, like, my husband is the head of the household, but, like, come on, I really run the house. So, with that being said, um, I always say you need to have agency in yourself. Now, this is what I will say. I do believe, regardless of whether you're working or not, you should educate yourself. Preferably formal education, but education doesn't necessarily mean you come out with an institutional degree. I mean, you need to pick up a set of skills that are transferable outside of being a stay-at-home mom or a traditional wife. Anything can happen, you know, Your husband can fall out of love with you. Maybe your husband falls ill. Maybe maybe he spontaneously blows up. Like, who knows, right? You may be in a situation where you have to fend for yourself. And there's nothing worse than a grown person, able-bodied person who can't take care of themselves. Man or woman, there's nothing worse than a person who cannot make decisions because they haven't been empowered to make decisions. There's nothing worse than a person who can't see more for themselves or who can't plan because all of that has been taken off the plate or whatever like that, right? You need to have agency in yourself. I mean, when you think about it, it's for everybody, really, right? Everyone should have agency in themselves. I look at young people. You want to be able to take care of yourself. You want to be able to get off the teats. You want to be able to go find a skill, whether it's through a trade or formal education or something like that. So your parents aren't taking care of you when you're like 30. You want to be able to have agency in yourself, care for yourself. It's a gift to yourself and to your loved ones, not only in the present, but knowing that when they, depart from this area, they know that you can take care of yourself. But for the women who are in such relationships where they are not bringing in income, and I choose my words specifically for that because I do believe that they are performing domestic labor in the home. So it's not that they're not working, but they may not be bringing in income. I always say you need to have agency in yourself. So whether you are given some sort of allowance or stipend or something like that, you should have that. You should have money going into a separate retirement account or something to that effect. Go talk to a financial advisor. They can give you all the specifics on that. I don't want to speak to that type of thing because I am not an expert on that. I am also not staying at home. I did that for a few years and then I returned to the workforce. I have and okay, it's going to sound weird when I say I have my own retirement, but I do have retirement in my own name as well. Even though my husband and we are a unit, we are a partnership, I also have a retirement. So what I am saying is when I see women who stay home, I don't think there's anything wrong with them staying home. That works for their family unit. I have a problem when they don't have agency in themselves. I've seen this happen multiple times where they're like, I have access to all the accounts and blah, blah. I'm like, sure you do. And then the husband, I've seen this a few times, locks them out of accounts or they just stop putting money in certain accounts because they earn the money. They put it in different accounts or lock them out or they transfer to a place that you can't get to. Now the woman has to go hire a forensic accountant. Like, yo. So I always say, you need to have agency in yourself. There were people who were surprised that my husband and so like we have an account that I'm on one of his accounts that I never even used. I think I've only accessed it 2 or 3 times because I don't need to. I have full access to his stuff. I mean, I see it, it's linked to mine, but I don't, well, because I bring income as well. I like having my own separate account. Part of the reason why that happened, because the intent was for us to actually combine everything, but when we got married, and it kind of happened by accident, and we just never. I was going to close out some of my accounts, and I was going to be added to his accounts and everything like that. And I remember when I first got married, and I changed my name and everything like that. It was like weird because I was trying to access some of my, even like my old money, and I forgot what it was, but there was an issue because of when you change names and everything like that, all your identification, everything has to match up. And I remember I was having a hard time getting money because it was an administrative exercise. And I was so irritated, you know. So I was like, screw it. And I forgot exactly what the scenario was, but I wound up just keeping my account open or accounts open or whatever. And I never actually closed them. And it just kind of like stayed that way. And so I wound up because I know what it was. So the saving grace was because I had my cards, like debit card or credit card or whatever like that. I was able to still move and do things until they could administratively fix things, if that makes sense. So if I was just do something online, if I were just doing something, whatever, like I could swipe. But heaven forbid if I wanted to do something where it required me to like grab money or something like that. It was just a mess. And so I still have my debit card. It was, the whole thing was a mess. So anyway, I wanted to keep my account, and we just left it on. But the point I'm getting at is I've seen women go through scenarios where they're like, I'm on everything. I have access to everything, know everything. I'm like, you're on everything and you have access to everything until you don't, if that makes sense. So a lot of people are like, you have a separate account? And I'm sitting here thinking, like, this seems to be working just fine. So even though I'm on accounts with him, he sees my, look, he sees my, but our accounts are linked and there are other things going on. If I need him to log into my account, he can, whatever. And if he wants to get me, then so be, he can get me. The point I'm getting at is this. You need to have agency in yourself. It's not just the ability to have, it's having access to the accounts. It's maybe having income that's actually in your name. If something happens to your husband, there's going to be issue. Like, for example, when someone passes away, when you share an account, you know, they do lock those accounts down for a period of time because the person passed away or whatever like that. You always want to have something that's in your name too. Okay? So that you can move, so that you can have access to things. A lot of people don't think about things like that unless rules have changed. You can't do a whole lot with certain accounts when somebody has passed away. I think there's like a freeze or something for a period of time. So I just say have agency in yourself. And that means access, that means having money, that means educating yourself, that means having transferable skills that are not just within the home. I'm not saying you have to have a job. What I am saying is you want to be able to, it'd be great if you could get a part-time job or something where you could just bring in income for yourself, right? And I'm not saying it has to be a lot of money, but it has to be something that if you need, I don't know, an emergency, should something happen. I'm not saying you're planning for the demise of anything, but what I do know is for myself, I have agency. Even if today I was completely wiped out, I have a set of skills. I have a set of skills. I have the capability of bringing in income. I have the capability of, in short order, let's say if everything was wiped out today, I could save up money in short order, and put something aside and go secure a place to stay. It may not be at the standard that I want. I probably have to change, some criteria, but I could do that. And then what I'm saying is to women out there whose dream is to be a stay-at-home mom, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's a single thing wrong with it. I think when you surrender agency in yourself, that's when it becomes a problem. Some of the most successful men have very educated women on their arms. And I've spoken about this before, but you know why? Well, for them, that's their ego stroke, right? I was able to retire my wife, doctor so and so, whatever. But women pass on legacy. So it is an honor for a woman to carry your child, your progeny. You want to pass on, your family name and all kinds of stuff like that. When you need a woman for, you need somebody who's educated too or knowledgeable to understand your values, her values. Hopefully you have this shared, you share the same values. If there's certain things you're trying to do, think about all of those big names, these names that have remained in hidden power for so long. These women with would carry on the family legacy. They understand this is how we move in this world. This is how we keep wealth within the family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I hope that made sense. This isn't a man bashing video. This it has nothing to do with that. But you do want to have agency in yourself. You want to have agency. You want to make sure that you are still capable of making decisions. You have access to funds. You are capable of bringing in income should you need to. You want to be educated or have a set of transferable skills. You know, I remember when I was out of the workforce for about 3 years, and I was so scared to return back to work. And I said, I never want to have that feeling again. Nope. Sorry. Oh, I hate sneezing while driving. Anyway, I said I never wanted to have that feeling again. And, my husband and I, we have an agreement. It was like a loose agreement where, like, we don't really question what anybody's buying, but we don't just go out buying things like crazy, right? Like, that's just not how we get down. But when you start approaching, we have a limit. We have a limit. I think at one point we said it was $1,000, but we have a limit if it gets to like, I don't know, a few $100s. We're like, I don't know. What do you think? And we're both bringing in income. Even though we said our limit was like $1,000, it could be like 400 bucks. We're like, I just thought of something. So, like, are you good with that? Like, you know what I mean? It's not that we don't trust each other. It's more like courtesy and respect. But the cool thing about me being back in the workforce, not that I want to work, you know, it allows me to have, and I hate to use this word power, because people are going to like try to take that and run with it, right? But it gives me agency, so to speak, power in doing what I want to do. My husband also trusts that I'm not out here just buying crazy stuff, right? I'm not out here doing that. I don't do that kind of stuff at all. Anyway, for those of you who want to be stay-at-home moms or want to be a tradwife or who are currently in a situation such as that, I would implore for you to figure out how do you gain agency in yourself if you don't have it. If you have it, great, then this video is not for you. But if you don't have agency in yourself, meaning education, access to funds, the capability to possibly sorry, my alarm went off. If you don't have agency in yourself, and that's basically access to access to funds, um, the educating yourself, to have transferable skills outside of the home, and money. And I'm not saying it has to be income, but it has to be some form of money. Whether you're getting some sort of allowance, save it off. You need to have agency in yourself. If you don't have agency in yourself, you need to figure out how do you want to show up in this world. You need to figure out what do you need to do to get agency in yourself. That doesn't necessarily mean a job. But a part-time job could look like, I don't know, earning money through YouTube or something. I mean, I don't earn money through YouTube because I'm not that good at it, right? I don't dedicate a whole lot of cycles to it. I'm not talking about a whole bunch of salacious topics that are trendy and I film on the way to work, right? Um, but you need to figure that out for yourself. And it doesn't mean that you don't trust your husband, but it does mean you have agency in yourself. You'll feel better about yourself. You'll look yourself in the mirror. And if you think you like yourself now, you'll like yourself or love yourself even more. All right. That's all I've got. Go ahead and subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and watch all my videos because they're All of them are amazing. They're so amazing.